Hi folks, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick and it's zxspectrum compilation time. Yes, we reviewed quite a lot of zxspectrum games now on the channel, so it's time for a recap if you're watching these as you go through. So, it's zxspectrum games 1201 through to 1250. May it continue as we keep going forward and forward to try and review everything ever. Apart from the rude stuff, of course, this is a PG channel. So let's get started with the latest instalment. Starting with a homebrew called Vectornauts with vector graphics. You control this stickman character who's trying to collect a number of microchips to unlock certain bits, including a gun, which is very useful for shooting stuff later on. It's got bare minimal sort of like a graphic, but it works really well, and I love this game. It's well worth tracking down. It's the Vectornauts, and you know, there's some good end-level bosses as well for you to get your teeth into too. Good music playing throughout. It's a fantastic effort from the homebrew scene. Back to classic now, Cuddly Qbert, influenced of course by Qbert from the arcades. There's quite a few of these. This one is particularly difficult and goes will be particularly short. It's quite annoying really, so if I was you, I'd try and avoid this one. Better conversions of Qbert are available. As I say, sometimes the enemies materialise exactly on you, so you'll be dying quite quickly. Yes, if you want to learn how to swear, then Qbert can teach you, especially in this version. He's not overly cuddly, to be honest with you. Crystal Castles, again converted from the arcades. It's an isometric game where you must collect all the appeals, a bit like PacMan, going up and down the screen as well, and try and avoid everything. You control Bentley Bear, and why not? There's a number of power-ups as well to destroy stuff, again, a bit like Pac-Man, all in singular colour, and it works quite well. It's a good arcade conversion, I would say. A number of different levels there to get your teeth into. This is the 128k version with sound too. Dread Over Eels. This is an isometric game. It's a take on Head Over Heels, really, the popular 3D isometric game from Ocean. But this has been made using a 3D game creator from CRL Group, where you can design your own graphics and stuff like that. It's still downloadable, I think, from Spectrum Computing if you want to try and design your own games and put a bit into it, really. Not much to do with Judge Dredd, and you just get stuck on the doors quite a bit. It's a bit underwhelming, to be honest with you, because there's not many other features. The Curse of Sherwood. This is a good old game, an exploration item collecting game. You control Friar Tuck as opposed to Robin Hood. Robin Hood must have been on holiday that week. Yes, but collect the right items, find the right people, collect the right spells, and break the curse of Sherwood, which is all over the forest. Quite interesting, this one. 2D, sideways sort of like view as opposed to Attic Attack, which was like top-down sort of stuff. An interesting challenge. Hot Tire. I think this has been made with the engine of Crazy Cars. It sure feels like it, which not necessarily a good thing. It doesn't feel finished to me. You got a choice of 3 cars over this terrain and go as quickly as you can through checkpoints to get to the time. It's jumping all over the place like a fly stuck in a washing machine, but apart from that, it's interesting, but I wouldn't like to have paid any serious money for it. Keep blinking. There's a bit of undulation there. I suppose it's funny looking back at it now, but as I say, I would have been devastated if I bought it. Gangster City. This is a homebrew. Basically, it's quite basic, really. You need to shoot as many people who appear randomly at these windows. You can see a yellow bar across the top, but that goes all the way down to the bottom. They instead shoot you. So it's all about getting a higher body count as you possibly can. So it's addictive, trying to get the highest score to beat all your friends who might have played the game as well. I think the game is downloadable from Spectrum Computing, as a lot of these ones are. It's Gangster City. You're shooting gangsters in the city. The Race. Now, this is you against either player 2 or the, well, that's basically it, really. But there was no player 2 when I was playing. It moves fast, maybe too fast for its own good, and it suffers for that. It sure moves smooth, but because you can't see a great deal of the screen you're going forward, it's very important to learn the layouts. It's one of those ones that maybe it's a great coding exercise rather than a playable game. But, you know, some people might have got it, and as I say, it does move fast, a good scroller. Stormfighters. This is a shooter, heavily influenced, as you can see, by the style of the ships from Star Wars and all those films. The screen is gradually going to fill up with more and more stuff, meteorites and TIE fighters coming down until you eventually die. So, you know, all goes are going to end in death, but to keep going and going. So it's one of those classic early shooters there, and it's one of those ones where maybe an early person getting into coding can maybe try and program it themselves. Stormfighters versus, well, X-Wing versus TIE Fighters, really. Udao, this is from Inafuto, very similar to a lot of his other games in music, but this is good. You control this blue tin pot man, and by laying down arrows, you control a car, directional there, and it must pick up all of the flags. So you're the scout man, really, trying to direct where this vehicle is going. There's a magenta ghost, which is prevalent in a lot of Inafuto games, which are trying to kill you all the time. It gets more and more tricky as you go forward in this game. Extra points for getting flags in the same colours. The Wizard Warriors, influenced by Wizards of War, of course, on the arcades. You control this guy in this maze, and you must go around and blasting stuff. It's as easy as that, really. Blast all the people, and you're out there. Music is a little bit annoying, if indeed you can call it music. Maybe it's something in the future, but it's doing my brain in. Not Dungeons Crypts, but it plays exactly the same there. Check out the Atari 2600 version of Wizards of War, I would say. Block to Wood, now this is a great game there by Slony Soft. Influenced by Doctor Who, of course. It's all about collecting different items, different style of play for each one. There's like platformer games and bits like this too. There's a big question mark in the middle. Here we're controlling the TARDIS, and every other level we control one of the Doctors in that famous Doctor Who Time Lord thing from Doctor Who. Very well put together this. This is influenced by Manic Miner, that one. Operation Hanoi. Now this is influenced by the arcade game Operation Wolf, but it doesn't play particularly well. There's no sound here, and my version, when I had another go at it, the background really cut up. But there's a lot moving there. It's not the easiest game in the world, so not particularly that fair. It's dying for some sound, which wasn't there at all. But again, impressively coded, but doesn't really make a good game. Operation Hanoi, not connected to Operation Wolf or Thunderbolt or any of those. Aftermath, you can see what this is influenced by, can't you? Use the cursor keys to block these missiles that are raining down on your city. There, so, you know, block as many as you can. If you lose all your bases and your central pillar, it's Doomsville. But yes, now this is quite interesting because it's being controlled, well, but a lot by the keyboard. But you can only go sort of like left and right, and the fire button there doesn't blow up the stuff immediately. You have to fire a bullet, which is different to any other conversion I've seen. Janky Joe in Retro Hell by the same people that gave us Block to Woot, and it's using that similar sort of engine. It's giving you a retro feel of lots of other games influenced by those of long gone. So this is like Cybernoid. The last one was Hunchback. A lot of fun this, a lot of character and different styles of play throughout, which keeps the interest and just makes you want to go to the next stage really to see what game they've looked at next time. Lives 11 you can see, so you've got a lot of lives here to start off with. Future Night, quite a quiet affair, but still a good platformer nonetheless. They've done well with Colour Clash, although it does it a little bit there. A bit quiet, I would have liked a few more baddies along the way. But on a rainy afternoon, I would have played this quite a bit. You find security passes to get through different doors and stuff. There's different weapons as well. It's one of those ones you might not necessarily have heard of, but it's nice and gentle, although not been in your face. It's a nice graphics on the enemies too, which is good to see. Super Champs, now you might not have seen this. You can only get this game if you ate enough of the Walker's Smith's crisps. Smiths, I think the Smith's crisps are a separate company, and then you would have collected enough packets, sent them to these people, and they would have sent you this, which is a big guy on a bike that looks too small for him. Frame rate is a bit bad, but anyway, you would have got fat, like the guy on the bike, from eating all the crisps, and then you would have played this. You have to compare it with Super Hang-On. It's not as good as Super Hang-On, but it's good muck around. But the levels are too long, really. Should have been shorter. Cursed Castles, or Cursed Castles, there. Influenced by, I think, Ghosts and Goblins with some of the screens there, but doesn't move quite as good as that was released back in the day from Konami. But it's a similar idea. Collect different weapons, shoot stuff, and advance forward to collect all the rings and save the day, and probably break some curse and rescue some bint from something or other. But yeah, nice background you can see, dark blue. Look at those flashing eyes in the background. So, you know, good attention to detail, and that does add atmosphere. All-American Basketball. I've never played a basketball game I've been any good at, and this is no different. Yes, you against the computer or a human opponent if you want to stand a chance, but, you know, pass the ball around and fire the basket in the basket hoop. That's how basketball works. I didn't get on with it. The options to change the colours a great deal there. I think the engine would have worked well for football because it's certainly moving quicker than Matchday ever did. Hooray! Butcher Hill. Reviewed this on the Commodore Amiga as well. You're also like a James Bond sort of like character. First of all, going down this river in Vietnam. Then you get to like a first-person shooter thing in the forest, and then somewhere else. Yes, it's manoeuvre your boat, don't get blasted, and go forward. The scenery sometimes looks a bit like it's moving at different speeds, particularly on the Amiga version. This one is slightly better, gives you something to do, but it does scream James Bond. Butcher Hill, there you go. Set Willie, Alina versus Margot. This is a mod, of course, and I do like the better mods of Set Willie, where they change a lot of the graphics. See the Set Willie character is changed as well. This music has been used by from other Set Willie mods as well by the same author. There's not a great deal of items to collect here, only about 21, so it's a much smaller version of Set Willie, so you might have to think that you've got a chance of completing it, and you might have. There you go. Tracks. Now, I found this very difficult to control, although some people in the comment section said I was doing it a bit wrong. But I've had a go since, and I've the same sort of thing. You must ring all the squares here in this red to try and complete the whole stage. I find it a bit finicky. As soon as you go more than one square away, it's dodgy, and I think the controls weren't very responsive. If I'm looking for a game like this, I'm looking at Oh Mummy or something like that, but I didn't gel with this one at all. I didn't like it, but other people did like it, so that was just my opinion. Danger Mouse and the Black Forest Chateau. In the chateau, said Elvis. This is a text adventure based on the TV series Danger Mouse the cartoon. You must solve clues and defeat Baron Greenback, I think. I can't quite remember. But anyway, it gives you options there what to do, so you won't be typing stuff in like The Hobbit and get completely stuck. So if one option don't work, just reload it or have another go and try one of the other options. But you can end up going around in circles by working out what item needs to be taken to where. A homebrew, mushroom soup, and a blooming good homebrew as well. This guy's got to go round collecting mushrooms there to complete the game. And then get to the exit, of course. Here he goes. He's a knight. Lots of timing to work out here. Well, I'm a green sort of character. It looks a bit like a hedgehog or a rabbit or something. Collect all the mushrooms, get to the exit, don't get killed by all the meanies. A nice one, good colour selection in this one too. Been made with AGD. Roadrunner, based on the Warner Bros. Or Looney Tunes cartoon. Terrible colour clash in this, and you're running left as opposed to right on all the other ones. You've got to collect as much seeds as you can so you don't run out of energy, and avoid being caught by Wile E. Coyote, who, yes. All other versions of Roadrunner on different systems are using the full screen. This one's only using a bit of the screen. See the speedometer in the top there, but yeah, different stages, different obstacles, but collecting the bird seed is tricky on this version. Some sort of problem in the coding. Fernando Martin, Basket Master. Fernando Martin was, a Spanish star on the basketball scene. The game was all in Spanish, the instructions at least. It's one-on-one basketballing, and I got my butt handed to me in great style here. People said I need to take time to develop the different skills, but, the game's always played from a first-person perspective, a first-go perspective, and on my first go, I got slaughtered, and probably would never ever play it again. Well done, Fernando Martin. PacMan begins. A version of PacMan, but it's what's called a single rail PacMan adventure, and that there's only one alleyway. That's it, the ghosts will come in on each side. Again though, collect all the pills and you're there. An interesting take on PacMan, and I quite liked it really. I play this in between goes of PacMan and PacMania. Fantastic effort, the sound is awesome too. And there we go, it's by High Rise this one. Check out a lot of the other stuff that he does, or Alan Turvey. Hooray! Spherical, one of the classic puzzle games, this one. You control this wizard knight character. You can create extra blocks, but you must guide this blue thing coming down, on other levels it's a different colour, into the inbox by, putting different platforms and not getting stuck. What lets it down, really, although it looks lovely, the backgrounds sometimes are a little bit busy to find out what you're going to do. Look, I've got a red character on a red background, which isn't the best, so if you suffer from colour blindness or a bit dodgy eyesight, it's a bit hard to know what to do. But a good game under it, nevertheless. Camot Warriors, now we're looking to the most strangest jumper in the world. Bear in mind he's wearing a suit of armour, he's jumping really, really weird. I made the character too big here, which is slowing it down, but the animation is quite good. I find it a little bit clunky to control this one. At some point you turn it into a frog as well, but it's there to be perfected. It's got its own style, of course, but wouldn't have been one of my favourite ones, but graphically it looks pretty good. Forget about that jumping. Arlo! Here he is, this character here. You know, I've shown you a lot of good homebrews now. Each one that seems to come out seems to be blooming awesome. They're the ones that I seem to find anyway. I expect there's loads of others that aren't particularly awesome, but there's a crap game contest where they seem to be in as well. Yes, collect objects, go through doors in this space station weirdo place. And there, if you are in a space station weirdo place, then comment in the comment section below. If you want to see the full review of any of these, then you know, track them down in the zxspectrum playlist. Killer Knight. Now this is really back to basics here. It's influenced by you know, Donkey Kong. You control this one graphic character, an 8x8 block, jumping over barrels to get to the top to rescue your girlfriend from the Black Knight who's in the top right. Easier said than done. It's not in basic this, but it's very, very close. There's the Black Knight there with your girlfriend there saying, yes, come and rescue her. Don't get another girlfriend. It feels a bit like a type-in, you know, but it's slow, it's quicker than basic. Scumball. This is a classic one. A bit like Starquake, I suppose. A lot of those. It moves very, very fast. This guy going around again, as you might expect from a lot of these games, collecting objects, getting back to base. They're collecting all the grenades and bringing them back to blow up a central character. Did I collect all the grenades? No, I didn't. Would I ever collect the grenades? No, I didn't. No, I wouldn't. I would just run around like a wally. Feels a bit like an Ultimate game, something like that. Now, we saw Spherical earlier on. This has been remastered by Rafał Miazga, and he solved the problem with the background, so it's not much of a clash, although the levels are the same. There's no clash now with your central character, so you can see them a little bit better, which, you know, the game does benefit from it. If you're good at the original, you'll be good at this. It's a good addition. Rafał Miazga has recut a lot of games that had similar sort of issues. Mucked up this level already by the looks of things. There, the blue circle has got a bit stuck. Hooray for me! Eye of the Mask. Now, this game feels a bit more like a tech demo than an actual game, although it's good to see. Look at the graphics here being animated on the 48K spectrum, going back and forth. But essentially you need to collect crystals there to teleport through different bits of the maze. You can get extra fuel as well, because if that runs out you're doomed. And you must find your way all the way around, I think, to score the whole thing. But it's a bit baffling. A lot of kids wouldn't know what the hell was going on in this thing. And as an adult, I didn't know what the hell was going on either. Octan, a vertical scrolling shooter. It's not bad in what it does. Monochrome, like a lot of these, with different power-ups on the side. The power-ups aren't particularly meaty, to be honest with you. So it's interesting about being one of the better ones. It's no silkworm or swiv, but you know, it's okay what it does. It feels like it's been made with a construction kit, different waves and aliens there, and they're interesting enough, although being all the same colour, but don't worry about that. It moves a little bit slow, to be fair. Horus Goes Night Scheme. This has been created just using two lines of code, to be honest with you. I thought it's by the Dev Squad. I thought I'd show you it there. Check out the review, because we broke into it and just saw the two lines of code, and it just shows you what can be accomplished there. Horus is going skiing this time at night. I hacked into it on the review, changed a few of the colours and stuff like that, and we had a bit of a discussion about coding and stuff. So a good one for people that want to learn about zxspectrum basic and coding in general. Scumbag 2, or Scumball 2 I should say, nothing like Scumball 1. I got conned a bit. I thought this was going to be a sequel from back in the day, but it wasn't. It was in a crap games competition. It's borrowed the name Scumball, but it doesn't really deserve to be called Scumball 2. But in terms of crap games, it's alright. I don't mind it. It was a little bit of fun, but it's nothing like the original Scumball. So if you're expecting more of that sort of quality, you're not going to get it. Collect all the items, get to the exit before your energy does run out. Ready, steady, go. Now, Daily Thompson Decathlon was one of my favourites, sports games and hyper sports. There's been a few others. This one is terrible. I couldn't get it to work. People said it was something to do with my emulation, but even if you could get it worked to emulation, it still would have been rubbish. I'm the red shoe there, it's not moving at all. I'm hammering the controls left and right as quickly as I can. My man's still moving around like the speed of a, I don't know, constipated snail. There's other events as well which aren't particularly good. Who designed this racetrack? Someone who's a bit drunk or have been on the vino. Min, exclamation mark, or Mini, however you want to pronounce it. This is interesting, this one. Homebrew. Direct shapes, you've got a choice of 2 down the bottom each time, and chuck them into the space below to put matching shapes together there, and once you get a number of ones that match the same colour, they will disappear. It's in your own time, there's no counter at all ticking down. Get 3 in a row and they vanish. Extra points for combos and all that sort of stuff. Dandy, this is influenced by Gauntlet, but look at the detail in the backgrounds, and it means the screen moves a little bit slower because of it. But it doesn't matter. It's quite good. I prefer the basicness of Gauntlet itself, but this is a similar sort of idea. Find the exits, find keys, get to where you need to go, and do not die. Do not die is quite important in a lot of games, to be honest with you. If you die, there's not too much you can do after that point in time. It's dandy. It's dandy. Some say Gauntlet was influenced by this, the other way around. Danger Mouse in making Whoopy. Yes, it's another Danger Mouse game. We're essentially 2 bits of the screen. We're driving around the map with Penfold, I think, in the top screen. We're trying to find dead ends there, which have got mini games down them. And when we play those, we can unlock certain bits. And we need to unlock all the mini games to go around the entire map. There's the first mini game, I hope. Is it going to load? You never know. But anyway, it's good fun regardless. I prefer the text adventure to this one. Yeah, it's one of the mini games. We've got to get to the top by the bubbles. Mutant Mushrooms this time. Another fun game by the Dev Squad, who gave us Horus Goes Night Skiing. Thumping music all the way through. The mushrooms remind me a bit of the game Centipede, but you must destroy all the mushrooms there without getting eaten or killed by any of the bugs. Loads and loads of characters on this. The enemies remind me of a classic TV show from back in the day called The Trapdoor, which I was a big fan of, with the googly eyes everywhere. But I really love this. A really good effort, Mutant Mushrooms. Corridors of Genon, another one that sort of like baffled me a little bit. It's an early maze exploration game, but what's good about this is it does actually give you curves. There's codes to crack to get through different doors. I think on my first go, I think the intricacy was lost on me a little bit, but you can get a bit further if you know what you're doing. I just keep running into dead ends and stuff, not knowing what to do with these codes. I was typing it in like a nincompoop. There's an overlay on the keyboard which baffled me a bit as well. Carof. Now this is a conversion from the arcades. It moves a little bit slower. There's a black box around the characters, but I did enjoy it though, regardless of that. Very similar to an adventure you might get in Ghosts and Goblins. They're scrolling a bit like that and moving at similar speed. The Commodore 64 version was curiously ported from this, and it was moving a lot slower. So after playing that, this one moves like feels like going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, believe it or not. It's Carof. He's a Russian strongman. Sheepish, a really clever idea, very inventive. Music playing is Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran. You must, not one for vegetarians this one, you must collect the sheep, avoid getting attacked by the shepherds, get the sheep as a wolf, dump them into the waiting van, and then once you've got all of them, get in the van and escape without dying, yes. Hungry like Will, there we go. This Ninja Massacre, more influenced by Gauntlet again, but closer to it from Codemasters there. It's gone back to basics, which always I like with Gauntlet. Collect keys, get through doors, find your way out, shoot the enemies, shoot the portals, which they're all coming from quite a lot of the time, and get to the next stage. Good choice of colour in this one, which I'm a big fan of. It's a good, alternative to Gauntlet on the spectrum. Ninja Massacre. You're a ninja and there's stuff being massacred, mainly by you. Bowling 2000, quite a basic bowling game. When you bowl, the 10 pins will blow up rather than knock each other over. I suppose it is possible to get a strike, but I never worked out how to do it. Instead of 2 bowls, you get 3, so you've got an increased chance of managing to knock them all over. Yes, there we go, Bowling 2000. This is what bowling was like in the year 2000. It's been made by a team that was in Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic, and now Super Minimal Bro. Now this will test you. Feels a bit like an iPhone game or a phone game. It continually scrolls, a bit like one of those Flappy Bird games. But jumping on levels, you must collect 10 coins to get to the next stage. If you mistime the level jump, or go to the wrong sort of level or ledge, then it's game over with a big ah. It will frustrate you, but it is quite good once you do get past initial levels there. The longer you hold the fire button, the bigger the guy jumps, to a limit. Hovercraft. This is from a German company, influenced by the game Moon Patrol from the arcades. There's been a lot of conversions. It's not bad, to be honest with you. Had to try and get through the German language, but it's got parallax scrolling, which is good to see from an early game. See the cyan mountains moving at a different speed to the blue mountain just behind it. Fire upwards, destroy aliens, which have got a big black box around them, which ruins it a little bit, but never mind. Yay, Hovercraft. That's Hovercraft in German. Yes, and the last game is Atomics, again by a company from the Czech Republic. It's an unofficial conversion from Atomics, which you reviewed on the Commodore Amiga. Essentially, you've got these elements here, and you must move them around the screen. I think this one is water, H2O, to create the element to get to the next stage, and you get progressively more difficult elements as you go around. This one has got a timer on it, but all the other ones did, which is quite interesting to see. Yes, that's Atomics. It's Atomics. Well done there. And that's all the games we reviewed this time around. So zxspectrum games reviewed 1201, believe it or not, through to 1250. You might be watching this live as it goes up. You might watch something in a row in the review games playlist. If you like this one, have a look at the other ones before then if you've just seen this one first. So thanks, folks. The channel is continuing. Big thank you to the members there supporting us. If you want to click on that, that'll be a big help. And as usual, if you want to see other reviews, they're featured in this, check them out in the playlist. But till next time, take great care of yourself, stress busting away, and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.